everyone. So the show is called The Pride Corner. That corner right there. Our coming out stories or our inviting in stories and more. Today, my guest is August. I'm going to take a moment to just send a wave to all the people who are coming in. CVS Sandra, welcome to the party.
Hello,
so
everybody.
So usually on this show, we talk to people in the LGBTQ plus community or their allies, and sometimes their parents. And one of these is we're going to get one homophobe because it's time. They're not coming for some reason. And we discuss who they are and what is their story. I believe in my heart that we are connected by storylines, and we just need to, once we start telling the stories, they're like, you know what? When I was growing up, I had a pair of shoes like that, or my sister did such and such, or whatever. So, but if you didn't hear my story, you would never make the connection. So welcome, everyone. Before we start and dig into it, I'm going to ask you if you can hear my voice. Do me a favor and tap the little triangle at the bottom of your screen, bottom right, so we can share it with as many people as possible. I'm going to do that right now. And I think usually you can share up to 20, but I usually just share with my friends and just make it happen. So there it is. Yay. So yeah, once you do that, then, oh, actually it was allowing me to share some. Okay, I didn't know I could do more. It's going all the way into Facebook now. Oh, okay. That's because I connected my Facebook. Oh, nice. Okay. Well, there. Just like that. Boom. So the show is called The Pride Corner, and I really try to keep it as real as possible. I generally don't, I don't like to meet my guests before the show for obvious reasons. I really, truly want my reactions to be as honest and as authentic as possible. So here goes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we're going to start with the very first question. Why did you, actually before that, tell us something fun, something different, something weird about you.
Let's see. So this is something that not a lot of people know. I am adopted. And I was found in a basket in an alleyway where I had been living for 2 days.
How did they know it was 2 days?
They said the police or whatever authorities found me eventually said that they had asked the locals. And the locals said that I had been laying there for a couple of days.
Oh.
And that people would periodically run out and try to feed me little bits of food and give me a little bit of water and stuff, because it was the one-child rule. You know, in 1995 it was, there was,
What's one-child rule? Where is that, China or something?
So in China, there was a one-child policy. They were trying to control the population, and so they basically had a mass, I guess, how do you... How do you put this in a nice way? They had a mass controlling.
Yeah, I know. I mean, birth control, something. Yeah.
Yeah. They really wanted to push birth control, but what they did was a lot of babies ended up being thrown out with the bathwater, if you know what I'm saying, because of what was going on at the time, because of laws, and that law is no longer active. I believe they have a much lighter version now, if anything at all. I would have to go back and check, but now saying that you can have several children and that they will be cared for by the government and such. But at the time, it said that you could only have one child, and that one child would only be, you know, helped by the government and with schooling and with healthcare and all that other stuff, and every other child would not be helped. So I was one of those extra children, I guess. And so I was adopted, and I was very, very lucky. I was put in a foster family. So I was given a lot more tender love and care as a baby. And then I was adopted into a Mexican-American family, and I'm in America now.
I have done about 100 of these shows plus. I don't think I've ever had anyone, and people, you know, some people resist when I ask them to just tell me something weird, something fun, something queer about you, just whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know. I mean, my life is boring or whatever. But this one, I think this one takes the cake. I'm going to take a moment to say hello to the trans
Oh
capitalist,
yeah. Hey
to
Ken.
Sarah Lebre, CVS Sandra, I think I already said it.
Oh
ED Gonza,
yeah.
okay. With love, August, so that's you. And just say to everyone, welcome to the show. If you don't know me yet, my name is Dr. Lulu, aka the MOMATRICIAN. I am a pediatrician and I'm a mom of a transgender young adult. My claim to fame these days is I was just on Oprah last week. So, yes, if you didn't know anybody who's been on Oprah, now you do. I
No
was
big deal.
literally, I know, I was interviewed by Oprah. It's like, you
Oh
know, the
my
funny thing
gosh.
about just thoughts and mindset and manifestations, you start visualizing and start visualizing and start visualizing. I have three vision boards. Okay, let me show you these. Let me show you the two that are in the living room. One of them is in my bedroom. The one in my bedroom has only one picture on it, and it's Lady O. Okay, but I'm going to show you these two, and then we'll go on. So these two, this is my old vision board.
Oh wow.
Boom, right there, right?
Yes.
This vision
There
board
she
was made
is. You
on
did it.
June 19, 2019, or June 8, 2019. This one has no date, but boom.
There she is, and you did it. You did it.
And then the other one in my, I think it's actually in my garage, has only one solitary picture on it, and it's Oprah. Now, I want to say that, not to take over your show, because
No.
this show is for you, but to tell people, whoever you are, whatever you're thinking will manifest. That's it. So if you think negative of people, it will manifest. If you think positive of yourself, whatever you think of yourself, it will manifest. If anybody told me I can't even still breathe, it happened. So that said, my decision to start coaching parents of LGBT plus kids is because I struggled. Me. It was not easy, even as a queer person myself. So I want to hold space for parents who do want to learn what it's going to take to support their kids. And that's why I'm here. So everyone, oh, you have sickle cell anemia. Oh, and I'm a pediatrician actually. So yeah, oh my goodness. And I happen to be Nigerian. And I don't know if you know anything about Nigerians, but Nigerians have a lot of sickle cell. So thank you for sharing that, trans capitalist. So let's come to our guest. So the first question is, why did you decide to come on this show? You could have been doing anything on a random Thursday afternoon, excuse me. You could have been doing anything at all, but you're here today. So what's up with that?
Well, you reached out and I reached out to you, and we had been talking a while ago. I can't remember how long ago, but it was a while ago. And I'm sorry I haven't been very in touch. I've been kind of sick.
Oh no, you're fine.
But I'm so interested in your story and in what you've been through as a parent, because I mean, I don't mean to say every, let's not be absolute, but a good amount of trans people have parents, right? And it's hard to explain to someone who's known you your entire life that you are different than how they thought you were, and that all their hopes and dreams for you as this one way are not going to be. That's a hard thing to explain to someone, and that's hard to have them accept immediately, because that's so much,
It's a
that's
lot.
a huge
It's a lot.
conversation. And for us, for the trans person, it's hard because it's this joyous thing, it's this celebration, and mom, dad, whoever, I want to share in this with you, I want to celebrate with you. But sometimes, or most of the time,
Most
a
times,
lot of
I was
times,
gonna say
yeah,
most times. I didn't
there's
want to
no
say
warning.
all the time because that's very upset, but
A lot of
most
times
the
there's
time.
no warning. And so
Yeah.
a lot of times parents are blindsided, and it's hard. I'm dealing with this right now with my mother. My mother and I are very close. We love each other very much. She's always been supportive of me and who I am and everything. But she's grieving. She's grieving. And I want to be very accepting of that, while I also want to be protective of myself and my heart.
Yeah.
Because not that I have to protect myself from my mother, just to say that it's so challenging being trans. And so you want to run to the people you love most and say, Mom, look at me. I'm doing great things. I'm speaking for people. I'm uplifting others' voices. I'm talking about these challenges that I'm facing, these real world challenges I'm facing. I'm doing what you wanted me to do. I'm going and I'm fighting dragons. And to have, you know, parents come back and say, you know, this is not what I expected for you. This is not the path that I saw you taking. It's hard. It's hard
It's
for
very
everyone.
hard. It's very hard. And even, you know, just to kind of take it to the next level, even as a parent myself, I have had to resort to not mentioning it to any of my family members because they're as intensely homophobic as it gets, you know, and it's just unfortunate, but it is. So even with that, even as and that's one of the things I want children to understand, trans children, trans people, whoever, LGBT kids, gay, bisexual, asexual, anything, that just as much as you want your freedom, for those parents who do want to support you, they also have to contend with their own people. And so ultimately, it's just, you know, we all have to just decide, well, what am I making it mean? What are they making it mean? And then, you know, how do we move forward? How do we move forward? Are you going to stay? Because, you know, as you grow up and grow out, you will lose people along the way. You will, I mean, it's just the natural, I don't know, philosophy of life. I don't know all the big words. You will lose people along the way. I've experienced it with my own family, you know, just something as small. I know this is not small, but something as small, let me call it small for the sake of words, as being on Oprah, you know.
Something
My siblings were
small,
like,
something
yeah, my
little.
siblings were like, yeah, no, for real. My siblings are like, oh, yeah, so what's for dinner kind of thing. I'm like, wait, what? Did y'all see that?
Yes.
And then I realized that they are not my tribe. They are not my tribe. And to me, once I realized that they're not my tribe, I actually had a sense of calm about it. Okay, that's fine, because they will always see you as this person who they've known their whole life. Not that you don't celebrate them when it's them, but everybody's different. And so I'm not going to say, well, you know what, when you lost your tooth, I was there for you. Now you're not. No. Everyone has control over their thoughts, or at least can have access to what they do with their experiences, and therefore how they manage their thoughts. And so I have now come to realize that, you know what, I can do this by myself. I can be happy, I can celebrate myself, and when I have no expectations, then I have no disappointments.
That's so true.
So as we get to that's the first quarter of the show. Welcome. We have a lot of people. I think these are all your people, because I don't know any of them. So thank you all so much for joining the show. The show is called The Pride Corner. That corner right there between my door and my flags. So I always tell people, so if you can't take the heat, there's the door right there. Okay. But otherwise, the show is called The Pride Corner, where we talk to people in the LGBT plus community, particularly those who want to share their story, because it's not for everyone. And I don't expect that. So the next quarter of the show, we're going to dig deeper into the guests. For instance, August, what is your coming out story? And if anybody knows me, you know that I have a TEDx talk coming up, and I'm actually trying to cancel the phrase coming out. But then everybody knows coming out, everybody thinks coming out, everybody, you know, so I've changed it in my brain, and I've changed it in my terminology, but I can't change it in my podcast artwork because it's already uploaded. And so people will say, what is your revealing story, your great reveal story, your sharing story? And of course, if you still want to use coming out, by all means, your coming out story, but I prefer inviting in. And that's what my TEDx talk is about. But yeah, so what is your inviting in story?
It's not so much one story as it's just little tableaus. Oh, I'm sorry if you can hear that. That's the lawnmower.
No, we don't hear that. But
Okay.
I mean, you're right. You're right in the fact that it's never one
Yeah.
thing. It's never just today at 12:59 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I came out to my mother and she said, "Are you going to tell your brother?" And I said, "Yes, I'm going to tell my brother. Will you let me tell my brother, please?" "Please don't tell my brother." She said, "Okay, all right, tell your brother." And I did. And he was not very happy. And they together told my father, which I was okay with. We don't talk. But then, once I knew that everyone in my immediate life knew, everyone that I wanted to tell, everyone that I thought would be accepting, I took it to TikTok.
I know you told me about your TikTok. You told me
Yeah.
about your TikTok. So how long ago? Just give me a timeline for those who don't know you and those who may
Sure.
want to obviously come support you. How long ago was this?
Sure. So this was in February of 2021.
Okay, so just last year.
Just last year, yeah.
No, congratulations.
Thanks.
And because I do ask questions for a living, let me ask you before we go any further, what was your assigned gender at birth?
Female.
Okay, so what are your pronouns?
My pronouns are he, him. I'm a trans man.
Yes, so and I just wanted to say that because ultimately people are going to listen to this audio on Spotify or wherever, and they'll be like, well, context, people, context.
Yeah.
So I need to remember to say that at the beginning and just say, what are people's pronouns? But I never remember, so here we are. So Thank you for saying that. Do you have any idea why your brother didn't take it so well?
I do. You know how it's very interesting how people can grow up in the same house or under the same people and turn out so differently. I think we grew up in the country. We grew up in the country in Wisconsin, so the cows cross the street twice a day to get milked, the farmers are there. She's bowing. No, but the cows are there, the animals, and we got the eggs from the chickens in the morning, and so I asked my parents if I could go to high school in the city because they wanted me to go to a Catholic high school, and I said, listen. I said, listen, I will if I have to, but it has to be with more diversity because until that point, I was the diversity. And I said, no, I need more. I need people. I need people like me and not like me. I need all sorts of people in my life, and I know they're not in our small town.
Yeah.
And they said, all right, we will send you to a high school that is Catholic, but is in the city. And it was full of queer people.
Well, you know what?
People.
Thank you so much for saying that because we just had a Catholic school. I want to say Catholic or Christian school. I don't know. Recently, that was in the news about maybe they expelled a kid because how dare the kid, say that that they were queer. That's one. And then there was a parent that actually came in my support group who was struggling with that because the school that her child was going to, oh my God. I think they said something about it. They try to pin it on like the hair, but really we all, according to the mom, we all know it's because the child is not straight. But they were like, oh, your hair, you dare color it a certain color. And like, okay, that lady has blonde highlights. Why don't we go after them? No.
Absolutely.
Why do you have pink in yours? Why do you have pink and blue?
Absolutely.
What does pink and blue mean? Wait, what? So,
Yeah, it's really interesting. I love my brother. I love my family dearly. It's just, it's clear that we've grown in different directions. And while that saddens me, I'm also okay, because here's the thing. I know he's a good person. And I know he has so much good. He's done incredible heroic acts in his workplace, quietly, in his school, quietly. He's one of those silent, but heroic individuals that just sort of moves quietly, but keeps his head down, but is respectful of all. And he just wants everyone to be happy and to be okay. You know? And I think that's what we all want. We all want to be happy, and we all want to be okay. So while we have our differences, I love my brother dearly, and you know, I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, and I don't think that eliminates it. And actually, thank you for validating that, because it just occurred to me. I actually just wrote it in my family group today. I said, you know what? I love all of y'all, and while I should be disappointed, I'm actually not. I'm actually okay with y'all just showing me your brain, and showing me your mindset, and showing me. That's it. And for that, I actually have gratitude. Now, what I do with the knowledge is what's going to determine my character. I'm not going to hate y'all. I'm still going to keep doing it, because, you know, sibling rivalry is a thing, and sibling jealousy is a thing. I mean, it's like, it actually happens. And, you know, I know people say, you know, a prophet is never recognized in their hometown. That's basically what that means. You know, everybody and their mama's like, oh my God, you're the only person I know that's ever been interviewed by Oprah. I'm talking about everyone's like, look, I know exactly where I was when you told me you're going to be on Oprah. Like, I knew what I was doing in the kitchen, things like that, right? And then my family is like, but I know deep inside, because my dad was like, oh my God, you've been saying that since you were a child. You've been saying that since you were a child. So that's what my father said, you know? And so I know that they, deep inside, this is how they feel. But outwardly, there's power in numbers, and they rather kind of flock together, and that's okay. This is not about that. But it's a truth thing. So I'm glad that you still love your brother, and ultimately it's what you do with it. It's very painful. It's very, very painful to not be accepted by your immediate family, the person that's like, should be like your road dog and all that. It's very, very painful. So how are you coping with that? Actually, before you go there, because that's the next quarter, I want to ask you, when you got to school and, I don't know, college, if you went, and life outside of your family, what was that story like? And how did you share your true identity with that group of people?
I was very sick when I came out. So I have a rare illness. It's called Behçet's disease.
Yeah,
and,
I know that. Yeah. I think I saw that. I just happen to be a physician, so I remember that. But yeah, you're right.
It affects me every day, and I just tell people that I'm very sick, because it's true. Not because I want pity. I'm not asking for, you know, anyone to feel bad. It is what it is. But I want people to know that I'm sick, so that they know that when I'm coming to you with my full energy. I'm trying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want people to know that, because I also want them to know that it's not all doom and gloom. You know, it's not all sad all the time.
Yeah.
It's hard to cope with people viewing you this way, but it's important to remember that we all have battles that we're fighting that we don't talk about.
Yes.
We all have those battles that we're fighting. I'm sure you had lots of things that you were battling before you showed up today, and I have things that I'm battling before I showed up today, you know?
Yes.
And that's just natural. That's the way of life, you know? And I want people to know where I'm at, so that they know that they're not alone, that it's okay to be struggling with something, and it's okay to not always know the answers to everything.
Answers, yes.
Because none of us really know what we're doing. Not all the time, you know?
Most of the time we don't.
Most of the time we don't. I was just talking to someone about this on LinkedIn. You know, LinkedIn's really funny. You
Yeah,
know?
LinkedIn is kind of cool. I discovered LinkedIn in April after my Facebook got hacked in March.
Oh
My
no.
Facebook and my everything, my Facebook, my Instagram, everything got hacked. Everything
Oh
was
gosh.
wiped out, all 15,000 humans. And I just had to start from scratch. So, but before we talk about that, I want to know when you shared about it in school and
Right.
in college and co-workers, if you have
Did
any,
I go inside? Can you hear this?
did you do
Did I
that?
go inside?
No, that's it. Yeah.
Can you hear the loud noises outside? Because I can go
Yeah,
inside.
we can, but
Yeah.
we can hear you too. But we can still
Okay.
hear you. So if you want to go inside, that's fine. We're good
Yeah,
either
I'll
way.
go inside.
Yeah,
But
we're good either
for
way.
school, I didn't have school because I wasn't going to school at the time. Um, it was more like I was on TikTok. I was on TikTok and I was making content and I was having a fun time, you know, doing that. But really, I wanted to tell everyone and I wanted everyone to know and not be freaked out or think that it was like a publicity stunt. Like, ew, you know, I didn't want that. But I wanted people to see it as like an example of you're okay. You know what I mean? Whatever's going on in your life, you're okay. I'm coming out as trans, and you can, you know, come out as whatever you want.
I
But
love
that
that.
secret that you think about yourself, that you think is like the deepest, darkest thing, that you're some horrible person, that you're an imposter, whatever feelings you may have, it's not true. It's not true.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you.
I hope
Come
everyone
out.
remembers that. Everyone remembers that.
Yeah.
That quote, very powerful. You are okay. You are
Yeah.
okay. Wow,
Absolutely.
how empowering. How empowering.
Thanks.
Very good. So as we get to the bottom of the hour, welcome to all the new guests. The show is called The Pride Corner. Today I have an amazing guest, August. So August, is that your real name therefore? Is that a name that you say, like your new name?
That
What
is
is that?
the name that I chose. August is the
That's the
name
name.
that.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So my guest today is August, and we're talking about the stuff that I talk about every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. The show is called The Pride Corner. So what do you think, right? So we
Yeah.
interview people in the LGBT plus space, people who want to share their stories, people who want other people to know that, like you just said, that it's okay to be who you are. What an amazing thing. Sadly, you and I know that society wants us to hide stuff. And I don't know where that came from. The first person that said that, ironically, what I discussed with Oprah was imposter syndrome, even as I do my work. And I was like, how will I not have imposter syndrome? I'm N equals one. I'm the only person I know that's doing this work. And so I'm constantly doubting myself and just get overwhelmed. Like, is anybody even listening? Should I even keep going? Like, and she was like, well, if anything at all, you're gallant, you're a queen, you're a trailblazer. You cannot tell me you've gotten to where you are by feeling imposter. I said, but that's the funny thing. I do feel it. So, and I think ultimately it's not about not feeling it. It's about acknowledging that you do feel it, and then what you do next, the next
That's
action. So, yeah.
that's totally right. That's totally right. That it's natural to feel the doubt. It's natural to feel the pain and go, oof, that hurts, you know, that smarts. But okay, how do I react? How do I take this information and move forward? And that's
Forward.
what you're doing. You're trailblazer. You're blazing the trail. You're doing the thing, you know?
And so, thank you, first of all. Thank you. I appreciate that, actually. I really do. I do. And I want my brain to hear that. Brain.
Yeah.
And as we move into the next half of the show, I want you to tell us when you shared about your gender with your family and they gave less than stellar response. How did you feel? And how did you react? Because that's the whole thing. Because I know that there's somebody out there, and I didn't know this before I started writing my second TEDx talk. I
Mm.
didn't realize that there are two peak periods of suicidal behavior in queer youth. When they first realize that they are indeed queer, and when they come out to their family, specifically because of the fear of rejection. So hence they remain in the closet. So tell me, how did you feel when you, first of all, what series of events led you to saying, you know what, I'm going to live in my authenticity? And then how did you respond? What did you do besides going on TikTok? And I want to hear all about that too.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. Dr. Lulu, I got married to a man in 2019. I got married to a man around this time, actually. And he was, content warning, not a nice guy. I have a restraining order. And, I'm legally divorced, happily.
Thank God.
But I woke up the day before our wedding, and I had a dream. I had a dream that I was a man like this. And I woke up crying because I knew it was true. I knew it was true.
Please say that again for those at the back. Oh my God. I was just writing about that in my new book today. I was saying that, we know that's not a choice. We know that it's not a phase. We know that it's not sexual assault and all the multiple myths, mistakes, and misconceptions. We know that, yet we're over here like, are you sure?
Yes. And yet we doubt.
Yes.
Because all of our lives we've been told we are not to be believed. Boom. So by this time that we have something to finally say about ourselves, something that only we can know, only we can understand fully, only we can decide, everyone says, oh no, shh, you don't know. But we know. We've known. I knew since I was a little child. I asked my mother when I was 2, I said, Mom, I like running around the backyard without shirts. I like having short cut off hair. I like being barefoot and running around and climbing trees. Can I do this for the rest of my life? Do I have to wear a shirt? Do I have to wear long hair? And she said, yes, sweetheart, because that's what girls do.
Exactly. I love that we're having this conversation. I think this is in all of my episodes. And, just to kind of give you information, I had 79 episodes and then all of my stuff got wiped out. So now I'm learning. So now I'm like trying to, each one I record, I just send it to my guy right away so we can upload it to, so hopefully I don't get, hacked again. But this is super, because I don't think in all of the many, many episodes, I don't think anyone has actually, I haven't had a lot of trans people, but I also don't think anyone has actually come and painted the picture the way you just did. Like, Mom, I'm a boy is not the same thing as Mom, I wish I were a boy. See, people, when I was 9 months pregnant with my second son, I wished I was a man. I was 9 months pregnant in the state of South Carolina. I was hot. I was sticky. My nose was the size of the highway. I got darker. I had little skin tags. I said, I wish for a moment that I'm a man because I didn't want to be looking like this. That's different from a child saying, Mom, I am a boy. Yeah. I am. And it's like, what do you mean? I said, it's the choice of words. 1, 2, it's the consistency. They don't change. Now, of course, what happens? They say, hush your mouth. Don't talk like that. Then you now say, okay. And then to let out steam, to let out stress, you might start cutting, right? And then people wonder, oh, it's a chemical imbalance. Let's put them on medication. You see why there's an explosion of ADHD medicine and antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications. If you just dig a little bit deeper, more. Okay, now, the child at the age of 3 said, Mom, I don't want to wear the pom-poms. I don't like the pom-poms. Oh, I don't know what they call them here. And what do? You make the child wear it, and then they cry and all these things. So thank you so much for just going, oh my God, maybe we're going to have to come back for part 2 of this because that was so
I would love that.
profound.
I would
That was
love that.
so profound.
Thank you.
So you knew at the age of, whatever age you knew, the point is, one of the questions the parents ask is, how do you know? And, let me ask you as the guest, how did you know? Because then I'll tell you what I tell the parents when they ask me that, but go ahead.
Sure.
How did you know?
That's a great question. And I've never answered it before, but right now I'm going to tell you that if we know that gender is a construct, if we know that we've made up these categories to help us as humans, we can also know that it's not that big of a deal if I don't want to wear pink anymore, or if I don't like the same things that maybe you thought I liked when I was a little girl. Quote, little girl. It's okay. It's not that big of a deal. I know,
Except if you, which is me or the parent, the other person, now makes it about me. What are people going to say? What are my friends going to say? That's what, and I want people to realize that, because right now, one of my family members, I don't want to mention the person because, I know who the person is, they know themselves, but I'm not going to mention them, but their child, may or may not have had this conversation with me about who they are, and I affirmed because now I know better, and now that person is not speaking to me anymore. Like, well, listen, dude, I did not make your kid. I did not. What I did was, thank God I was the one adult, maybe, or one of many adults who were like, you can be that, that's fine. You can also not know, because she said to me, she said, I don't know you. And I was like, that's also okay to question. It's completely fine. But when the parent now makes it about them, then this thing happens.
But you could have saved that child's life in that moment. You don't even know, but you may have. Just being one adult who says, okay, all right, I believe you. I see you.
That's the affirmation piece.
Yes.
And I know, and then I think I said, yeah, people think about acceptance. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
But a more powerful one is actually affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar but different. And if you look, depending on where you're looking at online, you may see them kind of, but they're not the same. Acceptance is like, you want to wear that? Okay, sure, let's go. Affirmation is, wow, you look amazing in that. How are you feeling it? See that?
Mm-hmm.
Tolerance is like, I don't care if you want to wear that or not. See the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Tolerance is like, just let's go. I don't care what you wear. Let's go. Acceptance is, okay, if you want to wear that, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Affirmation is, wow. Okay, so I wouldn't have chosen that for you, but that's you. Or, how do you feel in it?
Yes.
Well, then it's amazing.
Yes.
Affirming, right?
And then it's not about you.
That. Go ahead.
And then it's not about you, the viewer, anymore. Back to your point. It's back to the child or the person who's trans, who's not gender nonconforming, who needs that affirmation. Because I don't want to generalize and say that we all need affirmation, but I'm going to say that because of the invalidation that society gives us consistently as trans people, that we are not valid, that we are predators, that we are, not even real, that we're not even real.
Imagine it. It's a mental illness. Let's create a way.
Yes. Yes.
That is so true. That is so true. And thank you so much for the likes. Amal, PrivX, thank you so much for just interacting with this. And if anybody has any questions for my guests, please feel free to type in the comment section or send me a DM on the backside if you prefer to do that. But this is, we need to normalize these conversations. It's about time. Even as I still stumble and fall, I'm still not perfect. I'm still not. But the thing about it is, once you know better, the onus is on you to begin to do better. And like you said, you may be the one person that's going to save a child's life just by saying, you look great. Okay, you don't like it? Okay, then you don't look great. You know, it's like whatever, right? Just going along and not making it such a huge deal, because truly at the end of the day, it isn't. It isn't. So thank you so much. And so did you feel accepted, affirmed by other people outside of your family? TikTok, maybe?
Yeah. I came out on TikTok, which sounds silly, but it was one of the biggest communities that I had at the time. It was about 70,000 people strong, and I thought, they were okay when I came out as a lesbian. Maybe they'll be okay if I'm trans. And then they were.
And then they were. How powerful.
Wild.
How powerful. I love that. I love that. I think TikTok is a pretty neat place to hang out. I tell them that all the time. I told them that like last night. I said, y'all, TikTok, y'all are just a different group of people. But ironically, it's the same people, humans, on LinkedIn. Yet, LinkedIn is more toxic and more whatever because of obvious reasons. It's more, and I'm just going to take it because I don't mind saying what I want to say. It's more whitewashed. There are more CEOs and cis white males, and they feel like they have the right to just tell you whatever they want to tell you. But it's the same human beings, just humans with bones and eyes and vajayjays and whatever on both platforms. Yet one platform is like, okay, that's all you wanted to tell us? Great, so tell us more.
Yeah.
Versus, I cannot believe there's a freaking black Ariel. What?
Oh my gosh.
Like, that's going to affect the way I sleep tonight.
Yeah. People are
Lord. How? So, what is your TikTok handle? And do you have like a time you go live there? Or?
I haven't been going live as much recently because I had a bit of an incident. There was a death threat when I went live recently. Yeah. But I really like making TikToks because it's a short video. I'm sick, and so I don't have a ton of energy throughout the entire day. I only got energy for a 15-second clip of a video. Boom. Put it out there. It's done. And then that's it. That's all. And that's easy for me. I can do that. I can do that all day.
I can do that. Yeah.
Going live, that's a totally different thing. You do this more frequently than I do, so things can come up. People can say things, and then you go, oh wow, how do I recover from that? It's a totally different.
I learned how to use the mute button on TikTok. It works.
Yep.
I tell them, I said, my name is not Michelle Obama, honey. If you go low, I go low. Yes, they know me. I don't play. You want to go low? Let's go together.
Yeah.
Wow. And so the show is called The Pride Corner, Our Coming Out Stories and More. Today I have an amazing guest, August, who is just not even leaving any stone unturned in just their vulnerability and authenticity and just visibility as a trans person, and just telling y'all that it is okay. I got that. I got that. It is okay to be who you are. And my transness doesn't do anything to dim your own whateverness, right? I love that. I love that. And so as we get into our final quarter of the show, where can people find you and follow you and hopefully affirm you or continue to affirm you in the work that you do? And what work is it that you do? Is it just basically affirming people online? Because a lot of people go online to get answers before they jump. I mean, so they need you. They need you.
Thanks. Yeah, I try to affirm people online. I try to make content that's full of trans joy. I try to spread trans joy because we have so many stories of tragedy and loss. And yes, that's a very real part of being trans, of being gender nonconforming in general. But that's not the only aspect of this life, We are well-rounded characters with full lives and full beings. We're just, and that goes to what we try to tell people, cisgender people, which is we come in peace. We're like everybody else,
We're well-rounded humans with full lives, and we come in peace. Why not? And if only, I know, powerful cis men like the governor of Texas and the governor of Florida and the governor of whatever place that just believe that I have the power. Like, I just don't understand how one little girl in a random school somewhere threatens a grown man. Or worse still, one little fictitious girl whose best friend is a lobster, who, by the way, has a Caribbean accent, which means
yes,
the mermaid is Caribbean, meaning
yes,
she's not white. I
meaning
do I have to
yes,
sing this? Oh my God.
yes, yes. No, you're absolutely correct. People, I wish, and I'm sure you do too, that people had a better way of when they think something like, I'm going to make a comment about a fictitious mermaid, that they go, let me take a step back. Let me look at the big picture and realize that this is a fictitious top half of a fish. It's not that deep.
Not that deep. Oh my goodness. And even if it were, to what end?
Yeah.
What are you wanting to get? Hi, Dr. Sabrina Nicole. That's my girl. Hey, darling. What are you trying to get out of it? Is a black mermaid, is a blue mermaid. What if the mermaid was blue? I mean, we have that. There's some movie that all the people in that movie are blue.
Yeah.
I don't know the movie, but I don't know the name, but I've seen there's a movie. They have tails and they fly.
Oh, yeah, the Avatar thing.
Yeah, that one, and they're
Yeah.
blue. I didn't see anybody complaining about that.
You're racist.
Why? Why? Oh, why?
Just say you're racist and move on. Just say you don't like black people. Just say it.
Yes. And you're the CEO.
Just say it.
You don't like a fictitious character, and you're the CEO of a big company.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. How do you treat your real characters?
Mm-hmm. How do you treat the real people in your life? If this is how you treat people through a screen that you're never going to see, how do you treat the actual humans that you interact with? Yikes.
So, what would you say, usually to end the show, I come back around and I ask my guests, what would they say to their younger self? What piece of advice, what kind of love you want to show them or not to your younger self if you met them today? What would you say?
If I met young me today, I would want to tell myself, not only does it get better, it gets better, but you heal. And the key is you. You have to do the healing. You have to heal yourself. And you can. And it's going to take work. It's going to take so much work, so much energy, so much research, so much empowerment, but it's all in you. You can do that. And it's okay to ask for help. You don't have to do it alone, even though you technically could pull yourself up and do it yourself. Wouldn't it be easier if you had some lovely people? Wouldn't it be easier if you had some company? You can do it, and you can do it with company, and you can do it with community. You can do this. You can do this by yourself, but you can also do this with a team. You're going to be just fine.
You're going to be just fine, of course, ultimately. That is so powerful. What amazing advice. And so if you're a parent right now, and you can hear my words, or if you're, I don't know, a parent figure in a child's life, hopefully you've heard the words of my guest today, tugging at your heart and asking you to please do the right thing. Ultimately, it's not that serious. Honestly, it's not. I mean, I don't know how else to say it except truly it's not. Most children just still want the basic things from you, a hug, I don't know, dinner, you know. That's it. Maybe a little bit more, maybe, but they don't want you to single them out. They don't want you to, they don't want you to treat them differently. It's the treating equally that they want. And that's what I want people to understand, that they just want you to treat them equally. And so if you're a parent and you can hear my voice and you'd like to get help with that, that's what I do. My name is Dr. Lulu, aka the MOMATRICIAN. I am a pediatrician and I'm a mom of a transgender young adult. I have a brand new free webinar. Oh my God, that's the favorite price of America, right?
Yeah.
Free. So it's titled 5 Mindset Shifts that my parents and all the parents that I coach have used, and I have also used, to get into that space where I can finally accept, first of all, self, right? And then my queer kiddo, and affirm them and support them, most importantly. So it's at www.drlulus, Dr. Lulu's, the number 5, then the word shifts. Dr. Lulu's 5shifts.com. Go there, watch the webinar, share with somebody else, tell them about it. Maybe you save a life. And the life you save might actually be yours. A lot of people realize that when, like you said, when they see someone else living authentically, they're like, you know what? I'm going to do the same thing. So quit being afraid, do the right thing. August, tell us where we can find you on the World Wide Web.
At With Love August.
With Love August. So that's the same everywhere?
With Love August, yes.
It's the same in both TikTok and on Facebook? I mean on
TikTok, it's just With Love August. On Instagram, it's With Love _August. But everywhere else, it's just With Love August.
Very good. All right, folks, you've heard it from the mouth of the dragon themselves. I love it. Thank you so much for doing the work that you do, for holding space for people, for affirming people, and just for being a superhuman that you are, because I think we are always very quick to criticize, but we don't remember to come back and affirm. So hopefully you have a good rest of the day and enjoy, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about this some other time in the future. And I know this may not be necessary, but if it's possible to, I don't know, share my webinar with your family members, and maybe they might want to watch it. You never know.
Honestly,
that's what we can do.
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay, so thank you all so much. The show is called The Pride Corner. Oh my goodness, I just love talking to people and sharing with people and just letting other people hear people telling their stories. That's really what we're doing here. So if you're a parent of a queer child, if you're a queer person yourself, I have a bunch of episodes on Apple, on Spotify, wherever good podcasts can be heard. Go listen, share with someone. And if you'd like to be a guest, let me know. Send me an email at dr-lulu.com. No, wait, that's my website. coach@dr-lulu.com. And before you know it, you'll be the guest. So thank you all so much. Thank you so much, August, for coming. I really appreciate it.